Okay, so let's sit up straight and tall and just take a moment to ground yourself. Let's come into your seat. Feel how you are sitting. Where are your sit bones? How's your ground below you? And adjust and move and swivel about until you find that, oh yes, now I'm on the perfect seat. When you find that, notice what makes it feel like the perfect seat for you. Is it how your spine feels when you're sitting? Is it the ease in your legs? Is it the sense of where your breath lands? So just notice what makes it a perfect seat. So come into the open heart. See if you can just make those minor little adjustments in your physical body that help you stay free and open in your heart space. Allow your shoulder blades to settle. Maybe if you always have your hands down, try flipping your palms up and notice the change. Or if you always have your palms up, put them down and notice the change. Check out your spine and see if you can feel that plumb line. It doesn't have to be a straight line, but from the center of the crown to the center of the tail, this sense of grounding and spaciousness, alignment. And then melt what you can, drape away from that center line in any place that is capable. And finally, once you have your body in a place that is open and stable, come into the feeling of your breath. Where can you bring more ease into your breath, mind, or body? And let's place the palms at your heart and bow in. Feel your heart lift a bit toward your hands, not enough to pinch your back body, but enough to feel that you're staying open. Bow your head and feel into that combination of the head and the heart space, the head, the heart, and the hands. Can we cease the doing so much and come into the being? Let the mind rest within. Offer an intention here. Let's release the hands and come onto our back. All right. So as you find your way, enjoy a little change, where now you're feeling into the spaciousness in your body in a different way. So no longer are we having to find our crown over our tail, but can you still feel that the spine is spacious? So bring your arms overhead and enjoy the opening of your sides. Maybe stretch your left side and then your right. Let your hips come offline. So one hikes up and one hikes down. Just feel into, whatever you're feeling, whatever happens in your spine, in your breath, in your pelvis. And then bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. All right, let's circle the knees. And circle the knees the other direction. Just feel into some movement across your pelvis, the back of your pelvis. And let's open the knees away from the midline and back in, and just feel into how your hip joints are today. All right, and place your left foot down, cross your right thigh over your left thigh, and bring your knees into your chest and give just a little bit of a hip stretch here, lengthening the spine. The tailbone dips toward the floor, sit bones wide. And then let's open the legs wide, arms wide, starfish your body out. Wiggle your fingers and toes, maybe roll your ankles and wrists while you're out here. Take another big deep breath in. As you exhale, curl into a little ball, pick up your head. And put your feet down onto the ground, right foot down, left thigh over right thigh, knees drawn into chest. Okay, so drop the tail, little teeny arch in the lumbar spine, sit bones wide. Let the head be heavy, the shoulders be heavy. And then lift both legs straight up in the air. So you can have your arms down at your sides, out to the side, or up overhead, whatever is supporting you best. Point your toes and flex your toes. Okay, let's just get a little bit of core activation. Open up the legs a little bit, the lower legs. Finding your breath. Now, if you haven't done it yet, try taking your arms overhead and lengthen through your spine. And we're going to open our legs out to the sides wide. Take a deep breath. Bring your hands between your legs now and hug on it. Inhale, relax your head down. Exhale, hands draw through the legs. One more time. Head rests down. Take a breath in. Exhale. Draw your arms through. And bring your knees into your chest. Put your head back down and rock a bit here. Left knee hugs in, right leg long on the floor. Feel the extension. It's all good if you want to keep moving your legs, your feet some more. Then switch sides. Left knee in, right leg comes long on the floor. Keep the spine spacious. Now we're going to pick up the pace with this movement. So right knee in, left knee in. Just go a little faster, going from left and right. Start to wake up some of your hip flexors, your core. You don't have to, be super speedy, but just have some steady movement going on where you're engaging through your hip flexors and your core strength. How's your breath? All right, then relax. Stretch your body out like a star, reaching into your fingers and your toes. Draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Put your head and your feet back down onto the ground. Take a deep breath. We're going to lift our pelvis up. Bridge pose. Arms come up overhead. And then exhale. And float the arms and pelvis back down. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, pelvis up, ground, four corners of feet. Open up through your pelvis, shoulders. And then relax and bring your arms down, pelvis down. Last one, inhale, lifting the pelvis, arms come up overhead, ground four corners of your feet, and then lower your body back down. Okay, knees into the chest, give yourself a hug. All right, one more time, pressing right thigh over left thigh. We're going to lift the hips up and scoot them to the left. And then drop your knees over to the right. Now, this is a big twist for this early in class, so feel free to stick a block underneath your legs so you don't go very far. Take a deep breath here. All right, lift the legs up. Lift two legs straight up in the air, arms up overhead. Long, long spine, thigh bones back, and then release your feet down onto the ground. Switching sides, left leg comes over right, Scoot hips to the right, knees drop to the left. Support underneath your knees if you need. Take a breath into the opening of your spine. All right, then we're gonna lift the legs back up, roll right over onto your right side, and come on up onto all fours. So we're gonna begin some cat-cow movements. All right, so on all fours, start moving the spine in any way that serves you. So arching your back, rounding the spine, taking your time to move through your vertebrae. Make sure you're connecting with your breath. And then move the spine or the pelvis or the head or the shoulders in any way that feels good to you. And then eventually we're going to find our way down to child's pose. Take your knees as wide as you want them. Feel the compression in the hips and in the knees. Relax the skull. Walk the hands over to one side or the other, opening up the side ribs. Relax the head. Keep melting so you don't have to pick your head up to look at your hands. Let it rest. And bring ourselves over to the other side, feeling that sense of weight. So come down into the hips a bit more. Relax your skull a bit more. All right, then come back up onto all fours, curl the toes under, and find your way to dog pose. All right, so feel free to pedal your feet some. Feel into the backs of the legs. You can sway your hips, move your shoulders, move your head. Anything that feels good. You can pick one foot up and then place it back down like you're kneading the floor like a cat. All right, so whatever feels nice. Heart lifting toward the pelvis. Start to slow down your movements and come into stillness whenever you are ready. Root into the index finger mounds, that crescent moon between thumbs and index fingers. Stay grounded there instead of just the outer hands. Keep the base of the skull soft. What feels good about this pose? All right, and then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana, folding in half. Headbend your knees as much as you want to. And halfway lift. Spine is growing. Thigh bones move back. Spread out the bones of your feet. Lift your quads. Spine gets longer. And when you're ready, melt again and fold. All right. Drop your seat. Rise all the way up. Come up to stand. Okay. So as you come into Tadasana, just notice the difference now that we are up off the ground. That feeling of stability, groundedness. So root into your feet. See if you can feel your way into the earth. And notice how this day makes you feel. If you have a window, open your eyes and look outside. Just feel into the weather. Allow the shoulders to soften. Can you feel that there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do, you're just here. So feel into the groundedness of the posture, the yielding. Rediscover your breathing. All right, now when we're ready, lift the arms up, lean back, keep the heart spacious and free. Pause here for a couple of breaths. Just feel into the open heart. When you're ready, you can cactus your arms, feel the back body, engage a little bit. And one more time, arms up. Pull down on an imaginary bar, so you're reaching into the heart open. Feel the back body work. Rising back up, and this time float forward. Relax, even out your weight through your feet. Halfway lift, spine grows, thighs back long. Exhale and relax again. Step your left foot back. Right foot comes forward, finding a lunge. All right, so open up through your body. Feel the heart expand. Shoulders down the back a bit so that you're not hunched up toward the ears. Start moving when you're ready, breathing and moving, straightening the front leg, grounding through the big toe. Perhaps you want to lift the toes when you straighten that front leg. So you do you. So find the pathways that are good for today, for you. Where do you want to feel opening in your body? And then as you're ready, ground your legs, feel into your lunge, rise up, bringing the arms to the sky or anywhere. Perhaps you'd rather have your arms in a different plane, all is well. So wherever you want to be in space, feel that yielding that we had in Tadasana, the grounding of the legs, the stability of the legs. Press your front heel into the ground a bit more. Feel your glutes on both sides turn on. Open through the heart. Okay, let's cactus here. Keep opening through the heart, and then we're going to press away. Feel the length in your body. Engage through your core, both arms overhead, and then just take your right arm back. Leave your left arm out there. Extend two arms away from each other. Teach the spine to create length too. And then release the left hand down onto block or floor and come into a twist. Shoulders away from the ears. Keep lifting your back thigh. Sit bones wide. Refind your feet. Shoulders keep steady away from the ears, so we're staying open. How's your breath? And then release your hands down onto the ground. Come back to dog pose. Bring that foot back. Let's take our legs wide on the mat. Maybe even turn your toes in and just your toes are on the edges of the mat. Feel your belly get big and spacious and free for breathing. All right, put your feet back, either together, hip width apart or wide. You get to choose. Come forward into a plank. All right, so feel the stability here. Shoulders are away from the ears. We're feeling into the core strength of our body. Soft little micro bend in the elbows and in the knees. Feel the inner thighs lift up toward the sky. Stretch your heels and crown away from each other. Full breaths, feel it move into the side ribs. All right, then bring yourself safely to the floor. That could mean legs come down, knees come down first. Shoulders give a good roll. And then rise up to a cobra. Open your chest. The elbows can stay bent. Release and melt to the floor. Shoulders away from the ears, palms grounded, feet grounded. Rise up. Melt your way down on the exhale. Last one, be mindful of what the back of your neck is doing. Keep it spacious. Open the heart without compressing the back. Exhale and release. Back down. Up on tall fours. Swish the spine about. And settle back to child's pose for a moment. Let your back open now. Feel into the breath. When you're ready, you can bring your left foot forward. Come into a lunge on this side. Now remember, you can always modify everything. Maybe your back knee wants to stay down today. Okay, so let's bend and straighten. Moving through the legs, opening up the hamstrings, opening up the hip flexors. How is your neck? How's your breathing doing? And as you're ready, ground yourself so the legs stay rooted. Rise on up. Feel the underbelly of that front leg, so the hamstring, glute, even the calf. Work your way into pressing in your heel into the earth to light up the underbelly of your leg. Feel some space. Open your arms up to wherever your shoulders are happy with. Keep the heart as open and free as you can. See if you cannot sink and collapse into the lumbar spine. Feel that you're rising out of your pelvis. The neck is soft. Spread the fingers, spread the toes. When you're ready, a big cactus here, opening the chest, and then press your hands forward. Lengthen through your spine, engage through your core, the 360 core, not just belly button to navel or navel to spine. And when you're ready, take just your left arm back behind you. Right arm stays out. Lengthen through your spine. Keep your neck long. And as you're ready, hand comes down onto the block or the floor and open up to a twist. Shoulders away from the ears. Hug to the midline with your inner thighs. Finding the breath. All right, reach back. Dog pose again. Finding your breath. Take your feet wide. Breathe into the low belly. Feel the wideness, the broadness of the pelvis. And then we're going to inch our feet forward to a squat. So come into a high squat. So our hips are in line with our knees or higher. Elbows can be on top of the knees or inside of the knees. Spread out the bones of your feet. Push the feet into the floor. Feel your legs start to wake up. Feel strength, but also stability, that we're grounding. All right, when you're ready, rise all the way up. Bring your hands out to the sides. Find the breath. Close your eyes. All right, hands come down. Walk your feet together. Find the breath. Inhale, come up onto your tippy toes. Finding some balance up on those toes. Breathing well. Exhale, heels come down, the arms come back. Twice more. Inhale, up onto your tippy toes. And it's okay if you fall. You're not going to go very far. Hang out here for a moment. Okay, and then when you're ready, heels come down, arms back. Last time, coming up onto your tippy toes. Don't worry if your feet flail about, just find your way. Heels come down, arms come back. Lower yourself down, squat with your legs together, and then reach your arms up to chair pose. So perhaps you want your hands together or out to the sides or back, so, or even hands on your hips. So find the way that's right for your body for right now. Bear your weight a little deeper into your heels. And then start to weight into your left foot a little bit more. Hover your right leg up off your right foot. Just hover it off the floor. Maybe you want your arms out for better balance. And then place that foot down. Reabsorb the earth. Come into connection and switch sides. And just notice if you have wobbles on one side or the other. Find the breath. All right, and then 2 feet come down onto the ground. Rise up last time up onto some tippy toes. Finding breath. And then relax. Tadasana. Pause here for a moment. Feel yourself grounding. Open through the heart. All right, we're going to take our legs, so turn to the long edge of your mat and take your legs wide. We're going to start with a low torso squat. So legs are wide. Drop your hips, lengthen your spine forward. Open up the inner thighs. So use your forearms to kind of press the knees back a little bit, getting a little stretch in your inner thighs. Spread open the feet. And then come on back up. We're going to start with triangle pose. Turn your right foot out. Use a block if you like blocks. Lift up through the arm, extend, and find your way. Shoulders are away from the ears. All right, so come into the breath. Ground through your back heel. Feel the big open space for breathing. Tip the pelvis toward your right. Allow the right toes to ground. Try not to lean heavily into the knee. A little micro bend in that right knee. Evenly through the 2 sides of your ribs if you can, instead of kind of arching over one versus the other. The more you ground the back heel, the more connection you find into your spine, into your back. Okay, rise all the way up. Let's turn our feet to the other side. Open things up, tip the pelvis. So we're really tipping like a teapot over to the side. Hand comes on the block or your leg, wherever you are, be light. So we're not bearing weight down. We're not dropping our body weight. We're trying to lift our weight off the ground. So yield with your feet and rise through the spine. So we're not sinking through our hand on the block or leg. Find the breath. Long ribs, open ribs, long spine, open spine. It's really hard to stay open unless you have some ground to work with. So root into the earth with your feet. Feel the back heel move deep. All right, and then come back up. Let's come to the first side again, to the right. Take a deep breath, bend your knee, open up through your chest, Uttanasana. Now start to feel, where is this different? Can you feel the openness of the hip flexors on that back leg? But can you engage the hip flexors on the right leg? Root into the feet. Feel the yield and the push and then the reach. Put your arms anywhere that's comfortable for your shoulders. So that might not mean overhead for you. You might have your hand down. Shoulder blades slide them down the back. The neck is spacious. See if you can ground the legs. So press your front heel, that underbelly, the hamstrings, the glutes are working for you. Come back up and pivot. So we're just doing a little ping pong with our legs here. Drop into the second side, left foot, left knee is bent now. Drop into the right heel. So try not to lose the right side. Reach into the whole length of that right side. Shoulders are away from the ears. We're staying rooted and grounded in our legs. Open up the knee as best as you can. Keep the neck as soft and free as you can. Discover the way you're breathing here. What does this pose offer to you? You can come out of there. One more time to a full deep goddess. So open knees, long spine, elbows inside. Maybe rock a little bit left and right. See where you can feel, oh, this is the weight of my left foot. This is the weight of my right. Then come back up to stand. Come into Virabhadrasana. So find your way into warrior pose. Deep breath in. Bend your knee. All right, so open the chest. Shoulders stay away from the ears. This back hip can turn as much as you want to. We're grounding through the foot. Feel that sense of space in the torso. The spine is growing expansively. So we have the root to rise, the rooting, the yielding, the grounding that gives us space in our body. Keep the neck as free as you can. Bring your hand behind your back and reach that other arm up. Open chest. Straighten your leg back to triangle pose with your hand staying behind your back. And just see what's available. You know, when we have our arm internally rotated like this, it's very difficult to open the chest. So just do the best you can. Unleash the arm. Enjoy the space in a wide open triangle pose. All right, come back up. Turn your feet the other way. Arms can start upward if you want. And find your way into Virabhadrasana 2. So if your shoulders feel like they are just creeping up, try a different position. Maybe bend your elbows and flip your palms up. Maybe keep your hands on your hips. So find something that allows you to feel spacious. That remember, we're seeking ground, but we're also seeking expansiveness. Melt your shoulders. Breathe into the belly and the ribs and the back of your ribs, your kidney space. And you can reach that arm up, take your hand behind you, open through your chest. So the hand behind you is at your waist and the palm is facing out. Straighten your leg and find your way into a variation of triangle pose here. Open across the chest. If your shoulder does not like to be bound in an internal rotation, just take it away. When you're ready, unleash the arm, lift it up in the air, find deep breaths. All right, come back up. Turn your feet out or in so that they're straight or slightly turned in, your decision. Thigh bones move back. Decide what you want with your arms. You can take your arms forward like dog pose. You can take your hands underneath your chest or in between your legs. You can put your head on a block or the floor. Wherever your body naturally goes, be here. Thigh bones lift, feet are grounded, spread the bones. Lift and widen your sit bones. Feel the tilt through the pelvis. All right. Walk your feet back. Come back to the front of your mat for a dog pose and just enjoy it. You can have your legs wide, your feet together, hip width apart, whatever feels nice. Breathing into the symmetry. Now feel, especially if your legs are hip width apart, just try to strike up the hamstring and calves from your Achilles, lift to your sit bones. From your sit bones, drop down to your Achilles. Feel that sense of long line in the back of your legs. Root into your hands well. Full breaths. All right, let's come forward into a plank. Integrate again. So feeling that sense of core dynamically. We're breathing into the side ribs. Breathe under your armpits. Breathe under your side, into your side ribs. All right. Place your knees down if you need. Come to the floor. Take your legs wide, arms wide. Lift everything up. Full back body pose. Neck is long. Exhale and melt. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Move the spine about. Swaying from side to side. Come down to child's pose when you're ready. Enjoy the balance, symmetry. Enjoy the compression. All right. Come up onto all fours. Find dog pose again. And then we're going to walk our feet forward. You decide which foot comes first. You can stick a block between your thighs, chair pose. Or you can have your legs together, whichever feels good. Weight into the heels, arms go anywhere you want them to be. Hover one more time into your right foot. Feel the balance. And drop your left foot down. Balance things out and then hover your right. Just feeling into where your balance pose comes from. You know, where is the strength? And 2 feet down, rise up to stand. And then pause in Tadasana. Feel free to shake. You know, if you're a bouncer and a shaker and you want to do that, that's all good. You can jump a few times, whatever feels like it's just settling you back to an upright stance. All right, once you're ready, we're going to just move into a little bit of balance work here. Let's start with tree pose. Right foot comes down, left foot is up on your right leg. Now you can have your foot all the way down here. Toes can stay on the floor, or you can have your leg high up or anywhere in between. Just try not to dive your heel into your knee, your inner knee. All right, so open the breath. Focus on the external rotation of that leg in the air, your left leg. Can you feel the hip joint externally rotate and open? Put your arms anywhere you want. Find into your breath. Relax what's tight. What about your neck and shoulders? Find your breathing. Steady your breathing. Feel your exhales. Release. And find Tadasana. So just pause here for a moment, feel your ground. And when you're ready, we're going to switch legs. So I'm putting my foot on my calf today. Maybe you can put them on the floor, your toes on the floor. Maybe your foot's coming high. So it doesn't matter where you end up, just be where it's comfortable. Try not to stick the hip out. So we're hugging the hip in, thigh bone moves back. We're mindful to not hyperextend our knee. Once we have our standing leg supporting us, open up the hip, your right hip. See if you can externally rotate it from the hip joints. Feel the neck stay easy and gentle as you bring your arms wherever they're going to be. Find a spot to look at that doesn't move. Ground yourself. Relax. Once again, stand in Tadasana. If you're a jumper or a swisher, or whatever you want to do, just let yourself be loosened up. Let go of the balance. We're going back into balance in a moment, but for right now, enjoy and appreciate the ease of being on 2 feet. All right, we're going to send some roots down into our right foot again. Cross the left foot over for figure 4. So now, those squats we did earlier, hopefully have prepared us. Draw the femur bones back. So engage your hip flexors and your core some. Reach the arms into space if that feels supportive. If you need a different choice, make a different choice. All right, so stick your butt back. Inner thighs roll back. Sit bones stay wide. Your foot in the air is active. Feel the ground below your foot. Relax your neck. Now, if you want, you can go a little deeper. You can even come down onto the ground with your hands. Heck, you can even, bust out an arm balance if that's where you're going right now. All right, so find your way. Try not to hunch the back. Long spine, wide sit bones. And then if you were down, come back up. And lift the knee, straight leg. Place that foot down onto the ground. Okay, let's pause for a moment. Once again, enjoying your 2 feet. So the sense of ease that we have when we're able to just be in 2 feet grounding, feeling, this is a great place to be, and we forget sometimes to hang out here. Notice where you took tension. How's the back of your neck? How's your jaw? How's your diaphragm, your breathing? So moving into the second side, moving into your left foot. Now remember, you can always lean against a wall with your butt for this. It's very easy to find a little support in your house, probably a wall or a piece of furniture, so you can come into the posture with a little help if your balance requires. And if if this is a very big pose of external rotation and you're not quite there, try eagle legs instead. You can just squeeze your legs. Okay, so you do you. Arms go where it's most supportive for your body. If you feel like coming lower, you can come lower. Try not to round the back. Keep the spine long. Breathing deeply. Open up that hip, stretch through your foot. Ground through your foot on the earth. And then if you went low, come back up. Find your figure 4. And then we'll straighten the leg, lift the knee up, place the foot down onto the ground. And once more, you can shake it out. You can jump it out, bounce it out. And breathe it out. Deep inhales, long exhales. Lift up, open through the heart. Bend your knees, exhale, melt the back of the head. Halfway lift, spine is growing. Back to dog pose you go. If you always take the right foot back, try taking the left foot back. If you always take the left foot back first, try taking the right. Create pathways, new pathways. So part of embodiment is learning every pathway. Of course, the ones we step into often, but also new ones that we're not as familiar with. Just come forward, breathing deeply into your plank, finding breath. Lower yourself. Maybe up dog is here for you today. Maybe cobra pose, maybe locust pose. Choose a back bend. Relax and melt. All right, come up on tall fours. Move the spine about. Swish, swish, swish. And back to child's pose we go. All right, flip over onto your back. Okay, we're gonna do like reverse tabletop. So bend your knees, and your knees are going to go over your hips or a little forward, whichever is best for your back. So don't go past your knees. Past your hips, either knees over hips or a little forward toward your chest. Arms straight up in the air, but our shoulders are relaxed. So lift the hands and then drop the shoulders down. So we're rooting the shoulders. Find your breath. We're going to straighten the right leg for a moment. Keep both arms up here for a sec. And then bring that knee back. And then straighten the left leg so we're not touching the ground. And then bring that knee back. Now we're going to do some opposition. It kind of feels like oppositional work. So right leg is going to lengthen and right arm is going to lift overhead. And then back up. Second side. We're going to switch this in a moment with our arms and legs, but just get used to the unilateral movement. One more time each side. How is your breath? All right, come back, grab your knees for a moment, let your back rest and check in. How did your back handle that? So if your back is tender and you feel like that's not a stable place, you can do this with your heels. So this next version you can do starting with your heels down, on your feet down on the ground, and you can lift a knee up instead of knees up and dropping a leg down. Okay, so you choose a different pathway if you need. So now our right leg is going to straighten and our left arm is going to come up overhead. And then back, switch sides. Left leg, right arm lengthens. Come back. Again, moving with breath. And then bring the knees in, relax, rocking. Full inhales and exhales. All right, let's open the knees up, out, away from the midline. Just do a little bit of circling with your femur bones and your hip joints. And I think, let's put our feet down for a moment while I explain this. I think all of you have done this with me, but just in case. We're going to keep our elbows down on the ground and our fingers pointing straight up toward the sky. So we're at a right angle with our elbows. We're going to pick up our knees and touch your outer thighs close to your knees to your finger pads. And we're going to stay in that position with our legs, with our upper legs. So we're just going to hold that steady. And now we're going to do some circles with our feet. So you can do either way. So we're concentrically circling. So you're circling out or in. We're going to do both. So you choose your pathway. Now, after what we just did, it may feel like, oh, this isn't as hard, but it's very different. So feel into the muscles that are doing this action, both in the rotation of your hip joint, but also in your core. All right, now switch directions. Now, depending on whether your right foot is now going counterclockwise or clockwise, it feels very different. So either way, we're doing concentrics. So you were going one direction, now you're going the other, and notice the difference. Are you breathing? All right, now let your knees fall into your open palms. Put your feet down onto the ground. Knees come out to Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together on the ground. And if it's comfortable to be with no support, lay your hands down. If you need a little support, take your fists and stick them underneath your outer hips. Okay, now just rest here for a moment. You can put your arms anywhere you want. Take some deep breaths into the belly, into the pelvis. Relax, put your feet down on the ground, bring your knees back up. We're going to cross the right thigh over the left thigh like we did in the very beginning and draw your knees toward your chest. Long, spacious spine. Switch sides when you're ready. We're going to do a deeper hip stretch, but this is to just relax the hips and legs after the work we've done. Feet down onto the ground. Lift up into a full bridge, shoulders on the floor, ground the four corners of your feet, open up through the front of your pelvis, breathe deeply. The next stays neutral. Feel where your feet are touching the earth and move into it. When you're ready, no rush, but grab a block and stick it underneath your pelvis, across your pelvis, and either straighten both legs, heels down on the ground, or one leg at a time if your back can't handle 2 legs. Now you decide. You can take your legs a little wider than hip width. You can try, a little bit of internal or external rotation. Just come into the feeling of stretching through your low belly, your hip flexors. Feel into wherever you want your arms to be. If you're doing one-sided, switch. Deep breaths. All right, and then when you're ready, pick your knees back up and bring them toward your chest. You can stay on the block if you like that bit of traction, or you can take the block away. Once you're ready, relax. We're going to come into pigeon pose or reverse pigeon pose. So you decide which way you want to be. If you want to stay on your back, you can put your right foot on your left knee. You can put your left foot on a piece of furniture, or you can grab behind your left leg. Or if you're rolling over and coming into pigeon pose, feel free to take as much support with blocks, bolsters, blankets that you need. I'm a big fan of supporting underneath you for pigeon pose. Now, this pose can be easily overdone, and we don't want to overdo stretching our hips. Our SI joints can get a little wackadoo if we overdo some of these poses. So we want to make sure we are in a range of motion that's safe for our bodies. All right, so melt in, but only after you find that structural support. So if you relax and a joint starts talking to you and you feel like you need to grip something, try taking some support so that you can find the alignment, but then rest within the alignment. Discover your breath over, over, and over. When you're ready, you can find your way out of that side and move into the other side. It could be the same pose on this side. You could choose reverse or pigeon pose on this side. They don't have to be the same. You might have different things going on with one side of your body versus the other and need a different posture. Find your structural stability. So if you're in pigeon pose, knees into the pelvis is square, the hips, the sit bones are wide, the spine is spacious. Maybe you need something to support underneath your head so that you can relax. If you're on your back, can you melt the skull? Is there a sense of spaciousness in your pelvis? Can you widen the sit bones? Is there a gap under your low back just a bit? Find your breath. Allow ourselves to come out of these postures, whichever one you're in. We're going to come onto our back, and you can choose to do a seated twist if you prefer. You don't always have to end your practice with a lying down twist. Okay, so move your hips over to the right and drop your knees left and feel into the open spaciousness of your spine. Melt your body. Back up. You're going to scoot your hips to the other side, knees come up and drop them left. Full breaths here. Go ahead and come on up and find your way to Shavasana. So this is such a gift. Shavasana is truly a gift in our day. So bring yourself into comfort. So make sure you feel as supported as you need. So that could mean that you have support under your legs. It could mean support under your head. It could mean that you have covering over you because you're chilly, or a blanket or eye pillow over your eyes. Once you get into a position where you feel like you're comfortable, scan your body and make sure. Once you're settled, start to melt. Relax the shoulders. Feel how heavy your limbs can get. Let's begin to deepen our breathing. Feel into a little bit of movement of your body. And eventually create a bit more movement. Finding your way onto your side as you're ready. Take your time coming upright. Bring your hands together at your heart. Just take a moment to notice the gifts of your practice, the sense of embodiment, the peace. If there's any merit to offer to another, send your love and care outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.